Hi everyone, hope you all are having a wonderful, blessed day as always. So today I want to talk to you about the first steps we need to take to truly start healing the body. And I'm not talking about clean eating here, I'm talking about detoxification, rebuilding the cells and the tissue, regeneration of the cells and the tissue. So what are the first steps? And I'm talking about through my experience and the things that I've experienced through my journey in the beginning phases. And for me, I truly believe that it really starts with the mind. I think we need to step out of the mind, and everything that you have been taught or told, you're gonna kind of just want to push that aside. I'm not saying forget about it, but I'm just saying just put it aside, because you really have to go into healing the body without judgment and without the ego jumping in and just putting its 2 cents in. You want to really just step back and have an open mind. That is so important when we are starting our journey. The second thing is you gotta wanna heal. At the end of the day, I mean, you gotta want it. You gotta wanna feel good. Just like with anything, this takes a great amount of discipline. And it's hard to get that discipline, especially when we're dealing with addiction. I mean, I had my own addictions, my friends. I know, I get it. I was addicted to my cigarettes. Like I really honestly thought I was never gonna quit. I thought that really, that's what a strong hold that had on me. I loved my coffee. I drank almost a pot of coffee a day. And the fast food, my chips. I loved sitting on the couch with my bag of Doritos watching TV. I used to be kind of a fast food, processed food junkie. I honestly can say that. Especially when I was younger, it seemed like a lot of people weren't awake to this this level of healing also. I never heard about people eating raw foods and detoxing and actually healing themselves. I was taught always when we get sick, we run to the doctors and they heal us. I never was taught to take responsibility and control of my own life. And so when you're on this journey, those are the first things that you really have to grasp. For me, that's what it was. It was me grasping that, because I'm going to tell you right now, anytime you go into a detox journey, there's going to be people on the outside that are going to judge you. They're going to think, what are you doing? You need to go to the doctors and you need to get checked, and you're not smart enough to be your own doctor and to take care of yourself, because that's what we're conditioned to think, that we're not capable. If we didn't go to medical school, we're not capable of taking care of our own self. And that has changed, because we can find so much information on the internet now. I mean, you could do so much research that we couldn't do before. So there is just such a blessing with technology, and there's also, the downside of it. But like I said, I'm against poisoning our temple and filling it up with pharmaceuticals and processed foods, because true healing comes from elimination, and so we have to be really careful of the things we're putting into our body. We want more toxins going out than in to heal. At the end of the day, you have to have that, or you're not going to go anywhere in your healing journey. So those are the first things that you have to get on board. The next thing we have to understand when we are first coming into this detox journey is you're not going to heal overnight. I don't care if you make the greatest smoothie in the world that has every nutrient, every essential property in there that your body needs. There is no quick fix here. And you have to go into this knowing that. this is, we want that quick fix. I don't know. I'm like that too. I used to be really like that. I was always like, okay, I have a rash. Okay, give me a cream, get rid of it. I didn't know I was suppressing everything with my allergies and my back pain, and I was taking all these pharmaceutical drugs, and I didn't realize what I was really doing to my body because I never really stepped out of the mind, and I just really never thought nothing of it. Until it all blew up in my face. And that's what happens with most of us on this journey, is we change when something scary happens to us, when we get a diagnosis, especially with cancer. And a lot of us are led by fear. And again, get out of the mind, because that fear, I'm telling you, will take you down the wrong path every time, no matter what the situation is. Now, I can honestly say that I had fear, and I used that fear and I turned it into a positive way. I used that fear to discipline myself. Okay, I'm scared. I don't want this cancer to end up being a big tumor on my face, or I don't want to lose my eye or have brain cancer. That fear, I turned it around. And that's what gave me the motivation and the discipline. So you can turn fear into a drive. And I really, truly believe that. You can turn it into a positive. Okay, so the next thing is we got to cut out all the processed food, which you already know. I know you do, because I talk about it every time, but it's a big deal. And we got to start moving into easy digestive foods. Foods that are that are astringent and, very important, alkalizing to the body. Because I know when I first started my journey, I was super acidic, and so anytime you have pain in the body, those are acids, and we need to get rid of the acid forming foods. And those acid forming foods are meat, dairy, all your grains, breads, all that, beans, nuts and seeds. These are all acid forming foods. Now, yes, some of these foods are good for us. And now you're moving into clean eating though. This is when you get the body up and running properly, like it should be, you can eat these foods. They're very healthy. I eat these foods when I'm not in a detox mode. And I'm going to share a little bit of that with you in a moment. But yeah, so we need to get away from the acid forming foods. These are the levels that we need to get to really get into the fastest way of detoxing our body. Now, for me, I do not like labels. I am trying my best to get away from any label. I don't want to be called a vegetarian, a vegan, a raw foodist. I don't want to be called any of that, paleo, keto, all that. I just want to eat good and healthy, and I want to feed my body the best that I can. And so I don't like to be labeled of anything, because that's where judgment starts coming into the picture, and people will start, putting labels on you, and I don't want that. And another thing too is I am not constantly in detox mode. I take breaks from these higher levels of detoxification. I go through phases, like I do 40-day fruit fasts, and sometimes I'll do a 3-day fruit fast or 1 day. I think it was the first 2 years, I was pretty much a raw foodist for a while, and then I started bringing in some cooked vegetables. And like right now, I've brought in some nuts and seeds into my diet, lots of steamed veggies, and of course I still love my fruit, but I like to have some of my balance in there too, and I have to take breaks because it gets to me, and I just need to find a little bit of balance. And it makes it easier for me to get back into it. I don't feel like I'm giving up so much. like that first couple years, I was really, really hard on myself, and I was really strict with myself, because again, I was in fear of, I had to get rid of this, especially when I would talk to someone and they'd be like, what if you're making the wrong decision? And people would start getting in my head a little bit, and I would think, oh my gosh, what if they're right? That's what I'm talking about. You got to get away from the mind, and you got to trust it. You got to trust your intuition. And that's why, meditation's really, really good. Trying to be present and in the moment, and stepping back and evaluating, watching, just seeing the bigger picture, because the truth will always show itself. I am learning that. And so just take it easy when you're on this journey. So if you are new and you're taking those first steps, remember that just getting out of the mind and eating, practice fruit fasting. And if the fruit is too aggressive for you, start with the greens. Even have salads. You could even start your day with a fruit smoothie, and then for lunch have a green salad, and then maybe another smoothie for dinner. Or you could do a green smoothie. Always do your fruit in the morning. I do. It's just a staple for me. I want something really hydrating and alkaline and just really nutrient dense smoothie with antioxidants. So I would always recommend fruit first thing in the morning. But you can do fruit in the morning and then a salad and maybe a steamed veggie at night. And so there are ways around it, because I know a lot of people have trouble with fruit. It is very aggressive, and we all have different weaknesses, and we're all learning and what works for us and what works for our body. You just have to find what works for you and what you're comfortable with. So just remember, your fruits and your veggies, stick to the plant life and try to eat as mostly raw as you possibly can, and just see how long you can go. Now, there are some of us that don't need to go to these extremes, and I get that too. Maybe you're not at the toxic level that I was at. And if that's the case, then you could definitely eat more cooked foods, but you still want to keep it simple. You don't want to overcomplicate your dishes. I have learned that also. Now, sometimes I crave like ribs and mashed potatoes and corn on the cob. Okay, so there is a dish. I'll actually share it with you because I did tape it. My husband and I used to love Phil's Barbecue. So I made some butternut squash, and then I boiled some organic corn on the cob. And then in my air fryer, I had some cauliflower in there. And so I put it all together, and then we put barbecue sauce on the cauliflower. So it really did taste like Carolina Honeys. It was so good. And the barbecue sauce, you have to be careful, because a lot of those, even if they're organic, they still have that cane sugar in there. It's all crap. And so the one that I bought, it was by Primal, and it's unsweetened. And what I did is I wanted to give it that sweetness. So you can add some honey to it, or maple syrup to it, or jackfruit sugar, that sweetener to it. So there's ways of, so you don't have to put that cane sugar in there. So that's what I did, and my husband loved it. He was just like, oh my gosh. Now, maybe because we don't eat like that anymore, but it tasted pretty darn good to us. There are ways, if you need just a quick little cheat without actually going and getting a pizza with all the dough and all the cheese, mucus forming foods. And that's what we need to avoid on our journey too, is we need to avoid all the mucus forming, acidic, dead food. We want high energy. These things are just that's what we need to do to heal our body at the end of the day. With your intuition, it will not fail you if you trust it. And because I think we all have that knowing. We know fast food isn't good for us. We know pharmaceutical drugs aren't good for us. We know. Why we continue to gamble with that, I don't know. So those are a few things that have truly, truly helped me on my healing journey. And like I said, always, always do your research and use common sense. Every bite that you are taking in, you're either healing or damaging your body. The air we're breathing, I mean, it's just everything. Our thoughts, you're either bringing yourself up or down. That is real. You take control of your life, take action, because this life is not fun if you are in pain and suffering. While we're here, we want to be the best version we can be. And I am here to tell you that you can have that. I think about if I went down that path, where I would be today. And I'm gonna make another video on my thoughts on that, because it really gets to me when I think about that. And I need to not go there. And I need to look for today, the now, the present, and just be incredibly thankful for every moment. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end. Like I said, I go on and on. So anyways, I love you all. God bless. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.